What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video, and today, it is time that we do our June edition of my monthly Gubernatorial prediction / analysis video. Since the last time we did one of these videos, we've had multiple primaries: Ohio, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Oregon, etc. And we're starting to get a clear picture of what this fall is going to look like for both parties. Now, before we start with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash that like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And yeah, so the June edition of my primary gubernatorial prediction. Like I said before, we've had multiple primaries happen, and we're starting to get a clear picture of how turnout's looking, and all that good stuff. So, let's get right into it. Let's start with no matter what you do, you shoot somebody, this state's going safe. So, all these states, of course, they're going safe Republican. People that say otherwise are just stupid. And I'm putting Iowa in here. I mean, Democrats don't have a real candidate. The governor is fairly popular there. She's going to win by quite a bit. Vermont, New Hampshire, obviously, because Phil Scott and Chris Sununu, two idiots, but either way, Republicans start with all of these as states, no matter what you did, they vote the way they're going to vote. For the Democrats, I would say it's very similar to this. There we go. Now, this isn't all the safe states, because in my opinion, there's a couple other safe states, but let's get into it. So, the other safe states that I would put as safe is Colorado for the Democrats. Look, Paulus is not losing. He's going to win that race by a minimum of 10 points. Very popular guy, and, well, he's a demonic asshole. He's going to win that race by a lot, so Republicans are not going to have a chance there. Paulus is going to win by 15 points or so. There's really no way that you're going to beat the guy. So Colorado is going to go safe Democrat. Now for the Republicans, they got a couple of safe states. Texas, I gotta say much. Beto O'Rourke sunk his campaign with the Uvalde stuff. You know, how he, used dead children as a political stunt. Just go F yourself, man. Just go away. Also, Florida. This is another obvious one. If DeSantis goes against Charlie Crisp, he wins by 10 points. If he goes against Nikki Fry, he wins by 15 points. So either way, it's a safe state no matter what you do, just because the candidates for the Democrats suck. They have no good candidates in the state of Florida. You could argue all you want about, how, Charlie Crisp could win, which he won't, by the way, but even if you have perfect Democrat turnout, DeSantis would still win by at least 5 points. So it is over in Florida. So, as you can tell, there are some interesting states that I don't consider safe. And it may sound crazy. A state like New York not being safe, we'll get to that. So, let's start with the more obvious states. Arizona. I don't think I gotta say much. Kari Lake is going to win that race, especially against Hobbs, which Katie Hobbs is unelectable in Arizona. She got bailed out because of a blue wave here. That's the only reason she won that race. She's a Bernie bro running in Arizona. You're not winning that race no matter what you do. Because as many of you probably know, Arizona hates Bernie bros. So she's not going to win that race. Kari Lake is going to be a great governor of the state of Arizona. She's going to win by like 4 or 5 points easily. Now, another quite easy state is Kansas. I gotta say much, it's Kansas. The only reason that loser Kelly won in 2018 was because it was a blue wave year. You had a third-party candidate. So, that's the only reason she won that race. She is dead on arrival this cycle. It's a matter of how much she loses by. And it is Kansas, so she probably loses by like 5 or 6 points. There. Alright, so, the other states that are quite easy to predict is Ohio and Wisconsin. I don't gotta say much about these states. Tim Michaels is gonna win Wisconsin. I mean, Trump endorsed him. I mean, it's not the worst candidate in the world, but the thing is, he has so much money. And even then, Tony Evers is done. he is losing that race no matter who it is. Well, maybe if it's Ramthan, but outside of that, it's going to be a Republican win. All right. So the other state that's quite, kind of an easy state to predict is, of course, New York. The only reason I have it as within 10 points is simple. Lee Zeldin's running a great campaign against the Hooch. The Hooch has been a disaster as a governor. And quite frankly, she is not going to win that race. Well, yeah, she'll win the race, but it'll be by a much closer margin than it traditionally is, because Lee Zeldin's running a great campaign focusing on crime, education, etc. A Youngkin-style campaign in New York, which is perfect because you need to be a Youngkin to win a state like New York. So, with that out of the way, these are the other states that are going to be somewhat potentially competitive. Illinois, we'll get rid of that right off the bat. It could potentially be competitive if Sullivan is the nominee. He is a giga chat on the issues and running a great campaign. If it's anybody else, it'll be within 10 points. But if it's Sullivan, he potentially gets it within 5 points. So that'd be a pretty big W if Democrat or Republicans can elect or nominate Sullivan for the primary. Now we got, 10 states that are potentially, lead to tilt. Let's go coast to coast. Oregon. I know this is such a meme. Drazen is winning this race, especially right now. Polling is showing Betsy Johnson, the third-party candidate, is at 20% of the vote. And currently, Drazen's winning the election right now. So in my opinion, Drazen's going to win this race. And I know it's a cursed meme, like Oregon going red. Who are you? A biased election predictor? It's just based on the polling we have. And plus, Drazen is actually running a competent campaign. So as of now, I have a tilt Republican, mostly because of Betsy Johnson on the ballot. Now for Nevada. I'm a bit less confident about the state. Look, Joe Lombardo's going to be the nominee. However, his debate performance a couple weeks ago was a disaster. Now, does that mean everything? No. However, if that's the performance he's going to do in a primary debate, I don't want to see a general election debate. So hopefully he gets a bit better. But as of now, I'm a bit less confident because Lombardo doesn't appear to be running the best of campaigns. And this is so weird seeing Nevada and Oregon as the same margin. It's cursed, but that's kind of what's happening in Oregon, Third party candidate, Nevada, you just have a Republican that's probably going to win because of a red wave here. Now, New Mexico. Ron Chetty's winning. I don't care what these polls showing. Ron Chetty's down by 30 points. There's not even that anymore. All the polls are showing this race incredibly competitive. And the fundraising numbers are showing Ron Chetty is potentially ahead right now. That's a good sign. And all the scandals coming about the incumbent governor is getting worse and worse and worse by the day. So in my opinion, Ron Chetty does win New Mexico as of now. And dear Lord, New Mexico, Nevada, Oregon, tilt Republican. This just doesn't feel right. But this is currently the state of these races. It hurts my eyes and brain, but as of now, that's what appears to be happening. Minnesota, 5-6 point victory for the loser up there, Waldo. He's going to win that race because Minnesota. So there's that. Now we got Michigan. Ah, man. Look, in my opinion, I think Tudor Dixon is going to win if she is the nominee, which I don't think she is technically, if I'm not mistaken. However, if she becomes the nominee, I think she's the only one that can win this race. The other clouds are just awful. A pro-choice Republican, pro-BLM Republican. It's like, what? You're running in a Trumpy state like Michigan, and that's your candidates? So Tudor Dixon, in my opinion, is the only one that would win this race. I mean, these idiots on Twitter saying, Tudor Dixon's unelectable in Michigan. She's too Trumpy. What the hell are you talking about? You need a Trumpy candidate to win in a state like Michigan. It's a bunch of nonsense being pushed by these idiots that know nothing about elections. Georgia. Speaking of that, lead Republican. I'm just gonna skip this. I'm done predicting Georgia elections. Just lead Republican. I'm not gonna say anything much more. Pennsylvania, lead Republican. Or I should say Tilt. Yeah, Tilt. Look, I wish Lou was the nominee. However, Mastriano, in my opinion, has been running a great campaign. Talking about issues that mattered. Well, every time he gets asked about the QAnon stuff, he's like, oh, look, I'm sorry that I posted a meme 6 years ago. And speaking of that, 6 years ago, gas prices were X amount or something similar to that. So he's talking to issues that matter to voters. And he's doing a great job responding about the QAnon stuff. So he's running a good campaign. Plus, Shapiro's an overrated candidate. He won because, A, it was a favorable environment to the cloud, and B, he ran against a nobody. Total nobody. And still only won by like 3 points. So there's that. Connecticut. Stefanowski's winning. That's just a fact. Rhode Island's likely Democrat. This state tends to be a bit closer in gubernatorial elections, so that's kind of obvious. Maine. You know, this is a tough one. But I'm starting to think that LePage is going to win this race. I think LePage will barely pull it off, but I think it'll be just enough to win this race. It'll be very close, but I do think LePage, I think he's a good enough candidate, especially to state like Maine, to win the race. And I do think he'll win. So, this, folks, is my current gubernatorial prediction. As you can tell, very cursed. I mean, you got Tilt, Pennsylvania. You got Tilt, New Mexico. All of that stuff. But that's kind of how it goes with governorships. I mean, it's a state-by-state basis. You gotta look at all the candidates and stuff. And, yeah. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And, yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.